When a 6-word text message popped up on my phone, demanding that I cut off all contact with my own relatives, my entire apartment seemed to freeze in complete silence. My blood ran cold as I read those sharp words demanding total separation, yet I did not break down or cry out in distress. Before we dive into the rest of this incredible story, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss another emotional life drama. I simply took a deep breath, composed my thoughts, and typed out a remarkably calm response that set everything into motion. They had no idea that their impulsive attempt to discard me would instantly blow up in their faces and cost them everything. My name is Jenna, and for as long as I can remember, I was the designated fixer who quietly carried the heavy burdens my relatives constantly dumped on my shoulders. Working as an accountant at a busy regional healthcare center gave me a deep appreciation for structure, financial accuracy, and predictable routines. My small home was a quiet sanctuary of neat shelves, precise budgets, and organized files that offered me a sense of stability. Unfortunately, my relatives viewed my financial stability as an open bank account designed solely to solve their endless problems. My mother, Valerie, loved to preach about duty and sacrifice whenever she needed her utility bills paid or her pantry stocked. My father, Warren, preferred stern lectures about blood loyalty whenever I tried to question why I was constantly funding their lifestyle choices. Meanwhile, my younger sister, Audrey, acted like a spoiled diva who considered my hard-earned money her personal play money for clothing and car payments. Whenever I hesitated to hand over cash, the whole extended family would swarm me with guilt trips about how heartless I was being toward my own blood. The only person in the entire extended family who never asked me for a single dollar was my uncle, Raymond, who operated a small local freight business. He was a quiet, observant man who noticed how much stress I was carrying while everyone else drained my energy and savings without a second thought. For years, I foolishly convinced myself that paying for their endless emergencies was just part of being a good daughter and sister. I let them treat me like an automated teller machine, constantly shrinking my own life goals, so they could live without any financial consequences. The toxic balance finally shattered when Audrey showed up at my parents' house wearing an expensive designer jacket, while demanding I pay the security deposit on her luxury apartment. When I firmly said no for the first time in my life, the room instantly turned cold and my parents treated my reasonable boundary like a betrayal. Things grew even worse 2 days later when my property manager called my office to confirm a rent payment my parents had charged to my account without permission. They had handed out my sensitive professional details, treating my privacy like something they owned, which pushed me to drive over and confront them directly. Standing in their living room, I calmly demanded an explanation for why my personal banking information was being used without my consent or knowledge. My mother immediately played the victim. My father accused me of having an arrogant attitude, and Audrey openly mocked my frustration from the hallway. It was a cold, cruel display of disrespect that made me realize they did not value me as a human being at all. The very next afternoon, a formal exile message arrived in our group text, demanding that I completely step away and stop reaching out to any of them. Instead of breaking my spirit, that cruel message instantly cleared my mind and freed me from years of emotional manipulation. I realized that if they wanted complete distance, I could grant their wish in a way they never anticipated. Shortly after receiving their message, Uncle Raymond called to let me know he was helping them pack up their belongings, because they were moving away secretly. Hearing that they were attempting to vanish without paying off their debts only solidified my decision to finally stop being their silent financial sponsor once and for all. That night, I sat on my living room floor and sorted through 7 full years of paid receipts, utility statements, and covered expenses. Green folders held housing payments, yellow folders held utility costs, and red folders held medical balances that I had quietly settled out of my own pocket. My close friend, Caleb, came over and sat beside me, looking through the towering piles of financial proof with utter disbelief. He reminded me that putting an end to this exploitation was not an act of malice, but a vital step toward protecting my own future. The next morning, I woke up feeling remarkably calm and gathered all the documented evidence onto my dining table. I took clear photographs of every summary sheet, proving exactly how much money I was spending to keep their households running each month. Then I opened the family chat and sent a precise update stating that I was respecting their demand for total distance. Within 2 minutes of sending those records, the entire group chat erupted into absolute panic as they realized what my departure actually meant for them. My mother pleaded for mercy, my father furiously accused me of using money as a weapon, and Audrey raged that I was putting her safety at risk. They scrambled to claim that they only wanted distance from my attitude, not my financial support, but I refused to take their bait. When they began calling my phone repeatedly, I placed the device on silent and let them face the consequences of their own foolish choices. Later that evening, Uncle Raymond dropped off 3 boxes of personal items that my relatives had tried to throw away during their rushed move. He looked at me with deep respect and advised me never to let them manipulate me into carrying their heavy weight ever again. Predictably, when my refusal to pay continued, my relatives turned to emotional blackmail and eventually brought extended family members into the chat to pressure me. I simply uploaded budget templates and local assistance links into the group, proving that they were entirely capable of taking care of themselves. My mother sent one final toxic message claiming I was dead to her, but her bitter words no longer had any power to hurt my feelings. I calmly wished her well, muted the conversation permanently, and felt an incredible wave of peaceful relief wash over my heavy chest. Over the next few days, I officially canceled every linked account, updated my personal passwords, and closed out all shared liabilities once and for all. My life became quiet, organized, and truly my own for the very first time since I was a young adult. Stepping away from people who only value you for what you can provide is not cruel. It is the highest form of self-respect. I finally learned that real family love requires mutual respect, not continuous financial sacrifice at the expense of your own mental health and stability. If this story spoke to your heart today, please subscribe to the channel, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and watch the recommended video on your end screen right now.